What if I told you nothing inherently matters the way you have understood it to exist? But if I told you that, you wouldn't believe me. See, this is a secret handshake you have to work for. You have to find it for yourself. Something like this can and will implode the world that you understood as certain and stable. Let's start off easy. We can agree the world is dying. It's not when, it is. We might have 5 years here in Salt Lake, but who knows if we'll even make it that far. The question behind the question here is, are humans worth saving? There are 5 stages of grief and 4 stages of simulation, 3 million people living in Utah, 2 political parties, and 1 absolute truth found in 1 religion among 4,000 recognized religions worldwide. What you're about to experience will shake you up fundamentally. And let me say this right now, there is no Narcan or antidote for this kind of trip. Questioning leads to learning, but we are after unlearning. You must learn to unlearn what you know to understand what you don't know. So although questioning can lead to learning, if you ask the right questions, you will learn to unlearn what you thought you knew. But you will be warned only once that this rabbit hole, this hallway, this Disneyland, this collage of dreams will lead you everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. This maze has no start, no stop, and this trip doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon for your convenience. There are 5 stages of grief. There is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. You may cross each one at different frequencies, intensity, and order. Your mission is to make it out thinking, but you will have to pass each one at least once to get to the other side. But of course, maybe you don't. Maybe if you're lucky, you will be only one to make it out with only touching 2 or 3 of them. But maybe if you're really lucky, you will touch all of them with increasing intensity. These feelings may increase during Tuesday and Thursday from 12:25 to 1:45, but at least you can leave after that. Or at least you will try. You will try to pass through these phases as quickly as possible as you realize your world is filled with nothing but traces of a trace of simulation, power, and perspectivism. Once this class has touched you and you have touched the material, there is no going back. You have now been infected, and again, there is no cure, no vaccine, no Narcan to bring you back. Unless, of course, you find one. One of you might. I'm hopeful someone might find it, or at least convince himself they have found it. Good luck to you all. Once you are touched by Beckett, you might start to think, or at least that's the goal. But the goal of Lance or the goal of Beckett? Maybe both. You will have many thoughts, many feelings, and a lot of work convincing yourself this was a one-time thing, a social experiment to test your own limits, much like your first drink. Just a social experiment with you and your trusted friends to see what can happen if you go against the wishes of your higher authority, questioning and pushing on the limits that set out to protect you by a higher power. But protect you from what? Just a reminder, you can leave and exercise your free will at any time you choose, because of course you do have free will, you just refuse yourself to ever fully utilize it. Then you rationalize the limitations, claiming them as a safety net that keeps your foundation afloat and keeps you busy with your everyday life. You can choose to accept or deny the beliefs that are in your head at any given time, but if you choose to reject them, your free will is leading you down a dark path away from the truth. Questioning is innate to you, but they told you it was causing too much friction, and that maybe you should stabilize first before you ask questions. Is that me, or is that the police talking? Or the trace of what the police should be saying in my head? See, when I say police in my head, I am talking about the ones that have been given to me like free candy on a table, at a booth, at a fair. You wanted the candy, but at what cost? The church has always had the best candy at their booths. They told you to take 10, then give 10% in exchange for giving you eternal life. But until then, you were required to limit the free will that God, in the first place, had given you. For it was a test, you see, and giving up that free will is the only way to be accepted into this heavenly afterlife, the place you are supposed to go, or at least want to go, to potentially follow more of his thrilling rules. The other saviors will help you along the way as well. They will help you live the life you were supposed to live, the submissive, passive, and wise life that will lead you to eternal glory. Isn't it funny that humans bargain with their lives, refraining from certain freedoms to appease certain authorities, like you were doing right now, waiting patiently for me to get to the point, but who told you I had one? Was that the authority in your head too, or the authority that you understood a presentation to be? See, there isn't a point. Well, there is a point, you just won't believe it, because if you believe there is a point, there isn't a point. But if there is a point and you don't believe it, the point exists. But not believing in the point will make the point even more meaningful and something to strive for. But not having a point and believing there is one, just insanity at this point. But look at you following the presentation carefully like you were supposed to. Your policeman must be so proud. But what do the policemen represent? There would have to be twice, if not 3 times, as many men in the panopticon to really see everything that we are doing, right? Sorry, I meant heaven. They are just so easily interchangeable. It's really just an uncanny Freudian slip, or a Nietzsche slip. Like, you can see a god, I can see a panopticon, Lance might see a D, creative response. Each one could have a trace of truth, but only you and your policeman get to decide which one is the truth. But you might be adventurous, thinking you might be able to escape from this simulacra. You understand as much as the next person that we aren't actually in the Matrix. The blue tint on the screen would be too much of an obvious detail. You would be able to see that a mile away. It can't be a simulation if I can feel it. I mean, I touch money, it's real, how could it not be real? But I guess this piece of paper could be arbitrarily useless. It's not actually valuable, but the idea of a valuable thing. Are we back at that? I think it should have a value, therefore it does have a value sort of thing. A woman wouldn't be like a simulation, But isn't all signs of being a woman just a sign of what a woman should be? Like, I do my hair, I do my nails, my makeup, I get dressed in the morning to show that I am a woman. But is that a woman or a simulation of a woman I am trying to become? Just like my coffee, that could be seen as a simulation. If I have it in a mug, that symbolizes that I have time in the morning to drink my coffee at home. I am proactive, a morning person, someone who doesn't mind dishes because they probably have a spotless house with an impeccable farmhouse taste. Disgusting. But I can have coffee from Starbucks. That could be a symbol of money. I have $7 to spend on coffee each day and probably don't care about the environment in a way that I truly should care. It means I have time to leave my house earlier than I should and don't mind making a stop before my actual day starts. But it might not be a cup of coffee. It might be a tea, a hot chocolate, Americano. All of these aren't coffee, but it simulates the idea of coffee and money and wealth. Or if I have my coffee in a to-go mug, that means I want coffee in the morning, but I'm trying to save money and time. I don't have enough time to spend drinking my coffee at home like the first mug option implies. But maybe if I have my noun-ized Starbucks in a reusable mug to show that I care about the environment and I have money to spend on it. But that's enough thinking for today, and to follow in the wise word of Lance Olsen, keep it light.